Good morning. It's Tuesday, June the 23rd, and this is The Drill. Thank you very much. I'm Ron, your host and the only true conservative in the United States today. I created this podcast to reform conservatism. My podcast is short, approximately 5 to 10 minutes long, because shorter podcasts are easier to download and listen to. I've been listening to conservative talk radio since 1989. I've grown up in a socialist household, and I've learned the tricks of socialism. My podcast is made available through Spreaker and can be heard on iTunes, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. Today, what can I do? Quote of the day and taunting Howard Zinn. Oh, also when the waters were changed. All that when I come back. Thank you. What can I do? Make the presumption for the status quo. Know your enemy. Don't spread the disease. Resist subversion. Don't give in to the pressure to prove a negative. Mind your own business. Listen and read carefully. Criticize. Trust yourself. Be realistic. Learn to love the concept and abstraction. And don't be reactionary. Next up, the quote of the day. Thank you. The quote of the day comes from dailyscripture.net. Quote, "Let me love you, my Lord and my God, and see myself as I really am, a pilgrim in this world, a Christian called to respect and love all whose lives I touch, those in authority over me or those under my authority, my friends and my enemies. Help me to conquer anger with gentleness, greed with generosity, apathy with fervor. Help me to forget myself and reach out towards others. Amen." Up next, more debunking of Howard Zinn. Thank you. In the book Debunking Howard Zinn, that I read an excerpt from yesterday, the author was going to great pains to analyze and refute Mr. Zinn's work. The dictionary definition of debunking is to expose the sham or falseness of, as in debunking a legend. This indicates that Miss Grabar is concerned with what Mr. Zinn is saying. She should be concerned with what Mr. Zinn is doing. What Mr. Zinn is doing is using history as a weapon, and doing so very effectively. The way that we know this for sure is to ask ourselves a fundamental question about Mr. Zinn. Does he believe what he is saying? We know that he does not because we know that his book is arbitrary. We know that the book is arbitrary because it fails the threefold test: definition, proof, and conclusion. Once we know that Mr. Zinn is using his book and history as a weapon, then we can defeat him. How can we defeat Mr. Zinn? One way would be to concede the contents of the book and then use that concession to taunt Mr. Zinn. For instance, yes, Christopher Columbus was a conqueror, and there's nothing that you can do about it. You have no authority, no power, and you can't win. Mr. Zinn wants to use history to create social friction. Don't allow him to do it. If we do not resist, if we do not play the game, we cannot lose. Up next, when the waters were changed. Thank you very much. When the Waters Were Changed is a story from the book by Idris Shah called Tales of the Dervishes. Once upon a time, Qadir, the teacher of Moses, called upon mankind with a warning. At a certain date, he said, all the water in the world which had not been especially hoarded would disappear. It would then be renewed with different water, which would drive men mad. Only one man listened to the meaning of this advice. He collected water and went to a secure place where he stored it and waited for the water to change its character. On the appointed date, the streams stopped running, the wells went dry, and the man who had listened, seeing this happen, went to his retreat and drank his preserved water. When he saw for his security the waterfalls again beginning to flow, this man descended among other sons of men. He found that they were thinking and talking in an entirely different way from before. Yet they had no memory of what had happened, nor of having been warned. When he tried to talk to them, he realized that they thought he was mad, and they showed hostility or compassion, not understanding. At first, he continued to go back to his hiding place and drink on his supplies every day. Finally, however, he took the decision to drink the new water because he could not bear the loneliness of living, behaving, and thinking in a different way from everyone else. He drank the new water and became like the rest. Then he forgot about his own store of special water, and his fellows began to look upon him as a madman who had been miraculously restored to sanity. Back in a minute. Who is the true conservative? He's the person that has the courage of his convictions and is confident in what he knows. He's the person that understands that cultural conservatism is more important than political conservatism. He's not selfish, but minds his own business. He acts like an adult. He is patriotic and uses common sense. He expresses what he knows and does so with certainty. He makes judgments, refuses to speculate, speaks clearly and definitively, and is not afraid to say no. He's open-minded, asking why rather than why not. He is consistent, credible, and influential, not ashamed of his existence, unafraid to learn or correct his mistakes. He is a normal American, and he is better than the socialist. He's a better friend, father, brother, family member, and a better person, period. You have to know that. If you don't know with every fiber of your being that being a true conservative is best, then you're wasting your time. And that brings me to the end of another episode of The Drill. Remember, be honest, be smart, and be beautiful. And always ask yourself, what is real? How do I know? And what do I do about it? I'm Ron, and that's The Drill.